Chris.
Heath.
Hey.
Hi.
Crisis averted.
Yeah?
We behave cool under pressure.
You think so?
I think so.
Which crisis are you talking
Oh,
about?
the one that we're not going to mention that happened less than a minute ago.
Okay. Which is funny because you dumped 2 crises on me.
I did? Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, well, sorry about that. I recalled when I was an RA in college,
Yeah.
how we had to take a FEMA proctored crisis management, basically like hierarchy quiz. It was sort of like emergency response. You need to be equipped in the event of a disaster, and full of all of these nicknames. So every institution, be it like a business or a group of camp counselors, need to have a designated like home base, director, coordinator, and you had to know which nickname was attributed to which like flow chart of operatives in the emergency apocalyptic readiness quiz. I'd be curious to know what you thought of it. Have you taken anything like that?
No, nothing like that. I don't want to be a major tease to our listeners. The crisis that happened was Heath saw some compromising metadata on one of my Mobius Tunes song selections. So he knew what my song number 3 was going in, which would have been a handicap. So I swapped out with an alternate song choice.
Smoothly, I might add. We pivoted and got the show on the road. The show being Mobius Tubes.
Mobius Tubes, episode 55.
Being recorded on... I always step on you. I'm sorry about that.
I was fine with it. It's November 21st, 2020.
Thank you.
The recording date. Also, let's take a moment to congratulate ourselves, pat ourselves on the back, because...
What are we doing?
This should mark our 2-year podcast anniversary,
Oh,
right?
really?
Because the first episode ever was predicting the Game Awards, and we're back 2 years later doing it yet again.
It is that time of the year again.
Again. How do you feel about that, Heath?
Normal. I guess this is supposed to be a nostalgic moment for me, but I'm mostly just looking toward the next 3 or 4 episodes thinking, oh God, I gotta finish this thing and I gotta write an essay about this, because you've seen the schedule.
I've seen your schedule.
I'll be able to rest around episode like 63.
Gotcha. It's going to be jam-packed until then.
So I wasn't tearing up at the thought of our milestone there. Although I should. I don't really celebrate things like that. But this is pretty good, and I'm feeling good about my standing with the Game Awards because 2018 was the first one we covered.
Yes.
And I had never even heard of a
Of a what?
My definition of developer and publisher was interchangeable back then.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Different times.
And then 2019.
You fared better.
I knew slightly more.
Yeah.
But clearly not enough.
But you were on a trajectory such that this year is the year you surpass me. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. The student has become the master.
Okay. So this is, as we alluded to, going to be our Game Award 2020 prediction episode. Before that, Heath, is there any business we need to attend to, or are we going to jump right in?
No, any games that I've been playing are being saved for a later date.
Gotcha. I also have not played anything of consequence the past 6 days since we recorded. We did get a 1-sentence email, though, that is a correction. I asked listeners to write in if they knew what was going on with my weird PC not being able to post during the construction. And Nate had an answer for me.
Attaboy. When our podcast gets foreclosed, we are leaving everything in our will to Nate.
This 1-sentence reply from Nate just reads, most AMD CPUs don't have integrated graphics, which was news to me.
Oh, that we've been taking Intel's integration for granted.
I thought that was just a widespread feature, but evidently it's not.
Their intelligration.
So Nate was telling me off the air that apparently AMD doesn't do that as a cost savings method.
True, that's why they cost less.
Right, that's how they undercut Intel.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was news to me that my $400 plus CPU cannot render a Chrome web browser.
Which is interesting, right?
Yeah, it is interesting.
That's like my Tesla can't signal.
Yeah, my ancient, archaic CPU can open up all the windows of Chrome at once, but not this brand new one, which is weird to think about. So that was fun and educational.
But you're
for me.
enjoying it?
Yeah, the little bit I've played has been noticeably improved, so that's great.
All right.
But with that out of the way,
get that out of the way.
Why don't we launch into predicting the winners of the 2020 Game Awards?
Jeff Keighley graced us with his presence. I have not seen him in Death Stranding yet, but I'm looking forward to it. He listed off the nominees for the Game Awards 2020. There are 30 awards in the show.
Okay.
We only give a shit about 25 of them.
Okay, I might care about even fewer than that. I didn't make any predictions around anything with esports in the title.
Oh, not even best esport?
I just have no insight into that.
Oh, surely you do. Like you do more than the average listener.
Barely.
Okay. So wait, you want us to only... This competition is 24? That's an even number. What if we tie?
Then we could predict the viewership count again.
Oh my God, yeah. I hadn't thought about that. Okay.
I haven't actually put down a number for that either, but we could. Okay. We could.
Okay. We'll find out how many we care about.
As tradition dictates, we'll go down the list that are ordered on their website and save the actual Game of the Year award for last. That's a good climax.
Oh, shoot. We're going in that order? My spreadsheet is in the order in which Jeff listed them.
Oh, you watched the video?
Well, you told me to.
Did I?
You were like, Game Awards happening right now, by the way.
Oh.
So, yeah, as it was going down, I'm typing.
Oh, I see.
You told me to be prepared for this.
I always go to the main website and list them out in a very beautifully stylized layout.
It is beautifully stylized.
Here's just a high-level observation, though. After seeing the awards go live this year, it brought into focus some issues I have with the Game Awards that have been festering but have never been this apparent. The first of which, tell me if this bothers you, Heath. I think it's a big problem that the Game Awards occur in early December every year. I think it would be much better to have them in early January of the following year. Or later, maybe even summer. That seems a little late to me. Just that it leads to these weird inconsistencies where one of the biggest games of 2020, Cyberpunk, is releasing the same day of the Game Awards and therefore is not nominated in any categories. So that's omitted. It also leads to this weird cutoff period where I believe games in 2020 are eligible up until November 20th is the cutoff date to make it into the nominations list.
Mm-hmm.
But that still makes weird edge cases slip through the cracks, like Demon's Souls Remastered, which is coming out right before that cutoff date, did not have any early press copies go out, which means Demon's Souls 2020, by all accounts, one of the best games of the year, did not show up in any categories because the press just didn't have access to it, and is technically not eligible for next year either. So it'll just never appear at the Game Awards.
Oh.
Ever.
Wait, say that again. What's the dead zone?
November 20th, 2020 is the technical cutoff. Anything from like November 20th of 2019 to November 20th of 2020 could appear at the 2020 Game Awards.
So Demon's Souls can appear in the next year's?
No, it came out on November 12th of this year.
Which is in between the 20th and what?
It came out before the 20th, so it's eligible this year.
Uh-huh.
And it didn't receive any nominations.
Because they didn't ship out
early.
Any demo discs.
Right.
So that's on them, though.
The publisher, you mean?
It's on Mr. Demon's Souls, yeah.
I mean, they can't plan their release schedule around this one Game Award show.
Okay.
And then there's maybe a less deserving game, but Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity comes out on the 20th, which is right on the threshold, and no one's played that. So there's weird edge case. Things like Spider-Man Miles Morales even. People were playing it under a very tight crunch time.
Get your impressions and get your votes
You don't have time to like marinate on your thoughts. You just have to quickly nominate, and maybe it doesn't get the recognition it deserves because of that. This could all be avoided if they just did the award show like 1 month later.
Well, okay, what unforeseen circumstances are there if we do host the award show in early January?
The only drawback I can foresee is it was probably nice having it exactly 6 months spaced out between E3 so that people could release their big new announcements. These 2 drops each in the year.
They're like semi-annual.
Semi-annual.
The 2, yeah, but we killed E3.
Right, with E3 being less relevant than ever and not even happening, that 6-month spacing out is less relevant than ever. I really hope in future years they are willing to push back the awards ceremony to a more reasonable timeline.
Oh, we got to do it way sooner rather than later.
So there's that. I have other issues with it, like the fact that now the general public can vote on every category instead of just a select few, because that turns it into a popularity contest, which has more to say about a game's advertising budget and brand recognition than its actual quality.
Wait, my vote actually goes toward the award winners?
It is a weighted average, but it'll have an impact, where previously only a select few categories like maybe community support you could vote on, which kind of makes sense because that's directly targeting how good the community is.
The regular user base.
Yeah. So I don't like that change. I think the jury route of previous years was maybe the more accurate way of doing it. We'll get into my last criticism later. I've been negative enough.
Okay.
Do you think these complaints of mine have merit, Heath, or am I just being an angry old man?
No, those are legit. I didn't look that closely at the eligibility window or voting criteria.
Sure.
I only focused on trying to win our competition.
As you should. Your head's in the game.
So last year, we had our annual competition, and I lost.
So the reason you're bringing this up is you want to set the stakes for next year? Is that what you want to talk about?
I think our Game Awards bet is still going to be make the other person play a certain game.
Okay.
That seems fine.
That seems fine. I propose we lower the stakes from loser plays 2, winner plays 1 to just loser plays 1 game.
Yeah, it's easier.
Yeah, cool.
Plus, we're running out of games to play. We've played so many already.
Okay. With the stakes set, how about we dive into the categories here?
What's our first one?
Our first one is Best Game Direction, awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. I always think of this as like innovation is the word that stands out to me. Which game was like really doing something different this year?
Okay.
Is that how you usually read this category?
Yeah, well, the winner of game direction last time was Death Stranding.
Yeah, which is like arguably a new genre of game, a Strand type game.
Shut up. That was a joke.
Oh.
But you're right. That did require a certain level of outstanding creative direction for how innovative it was.
Very different for a AAA game to focus on just cross-country traversal instead of combat.
So the nominees for this year are Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Can you pull it up for me to see again?
Oh, shit. Yeah, heck yeah.
All right. Okay, Heath, what do you think?
Well, judging on your definition just now, it's probably Half-Life Alyx.
Okay.
I previously marked down Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
But my gut is telling me it's probably Half-Life Alyx now.
You want to change that on the fly?
Yeah, that's a change for me.
Okay. I think there's merit to Ghost of Tsushima, how it very diegetically informs the player where to go through like gusts of wind instead of things like HUD elements. That's a pretty new approach to navigation in an open world. Hades has some punch behind it with a brand new approach to storytelling in a roguelite game. Just how Supergiant managed to drip feed new story content over the course of 100 hours and never repeat dialogue. That's amazing. But yeah, not to beat around the bush, but I also gave it to Half-Life Alyx as the winner of Best Game Direction. It seems like the new benchmark by which VR games will be judged. As soon as I heard you can carry additional weapons and ammo
in your hand
by just throwing them in a bucket and then carrying that bucket around with you for the rest of the game, That blew my mind.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Of course, I guess it makes sense in hindsight for Half-Life, this long dormant franchise, to come back. You would think Valve really had some cool ideas they wanted to bring to fruition, and I think it shows in Half-Life Alyx.
Sounds like it. I mean, we haven't talked about Half-Life Alyx for months.
Right. Well, I mean, neither of us have played it. This game, the only thing working against this game is it's relatively hard to get your hands on. It's being a VR-only game.
Awful accessibility, yeah.
Yeah. Half-Life Alyx should win Best Game Direction.
All right.
We're on to Best Narrative now, which is for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. This time I won't try to guide you to the answer, Heath. What do you think it is?
Well, here, read the nominees while I try to find it on my spreadsheet.
Sure. The nominees are 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and The Last of Us Part 2.
It goes to The Last of Us Part 2.
It does go to The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, I didn't need any hand-holding there.
No, you didn't.
Because they do the twist.
Which I don't know about, so don't tell me.
Okay, and it's a fine twist. What was the only other contender in this was Final Fantasy VII Remake, but that's a remake, so you're not allowed to give that best narrative because it's already been narrated to us.
Although I've heard there are story changes.
Sure.
The only other one I was considering giving it to was 13 Sentinels.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes. So 13 Sentinels is insane.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
I suspect if I were to play all 5 of these games, 13 Sentinels would have the narrative I enjoy the most. But that's because it's Chris Bate. I think it has relatively niche appeal. I don't think many of the judges voting on this category will have played this game. Definitely not the general users voting on it. It's got to be Last of Us Part 2 because where I think Hades and Ghost of Tsushima and Final Fantasy VII Remake really shine are more in their gameplay. While I think the main thing propping up Last of Us Part 2 are those character performances and that plot.
Heckin' 2 actresses have been nominated for Best Performance.
From the same game.
So it's gotta be, this is a lock.
Yep, all right. Uncontroversial opinion there. We're in agreement.
Best Art Direction for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in the art and design.
Animation as well.
That as well.
The 5 nominees are Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us Part 2. Wow, we're seeing a lot of repeats this year.
Well, yeah, we had a hard time releasing games this year.
Yeah, that has been the case.
This is equally definitive for me.
Oh, okay. I'd say I had to ponder it a little bit, but then I was pretty confident once I landed on my answer. What do you think it is, Heath?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima, yeah, it is the best art direction.
They had to take away the heads-up display.
Yeah.
Because it's so pretty.
Right, and they found methods to communicate the information that's usually in the HUD just organically, which is great.
There's goddamn legit Japanese art landscapes that you have to find as collectibles in the game.
Oh, that's really cool.
You have to literally match up the pictures.
Oh, and these are real pieces of art that exist in the real world?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just looking at the way the grass flows in the wind is breathtaking. That looks great. And I also think it gets bonus points for little inclusions, like it has a black and white
Kurosawa mode.
Yeah, like a old school samurai
Japanese
cinema mode. But yeah, which is a very stylistic choice. You can play the game entirely in black and white. I think little touches like that give it the edge. I wouldn't be shocked if Ori and the Will of the Wisps were to win instead, though.
That art style you would describe as soft and glowy?
It is very soft and glowy. The amount of effects they have going on screen in Ori and the Will of the Wisps is pretty incredible, almost to the detriment of the gameplay. I've heard people lose sight of their player character just because there's so much visual flair going on.
Mm-hmm.
It uses colors really well. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is pretty much
equally deserving, but for a totally different
reason.
Yeah.
Hades looks great, but it's still just like the Supergiant art style. I don't think it's reinvented the books and anything. And then Last of Us Part 2 and Final Fantasy VII Remake are just really good photorealistic looking games.
They look great.
Yeah, but Ghost of Tsushima wins it.
Best score in music.
For outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack.
Oh, including licensed soundtrack?
Yeah, that's how Death Stranding was able to win last year, I think.
Oh, because they love the low roar.
Yeah.
Nominees are Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Last of Us Part 2. Wow, this is just a copy and paste of art direction.
Except we now have Doom in the mix.
Doom Eternal's score was done by Mick Gordon.
Who we know from...
Original Doom?
Okay. I don't know the answer to that.
Prey.
Oh. Okay. And yeah, the 2016 reboot of Doom he worked on.
Okay.
What do you think about this one, Heath?
Everyone knows my tastes in music, but when it comes to awarding awards such as this, I think it would be difficult to not give it to Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Final Fantasy VII Remake is a banger. That main battle theme, I think it's called Those Who Fight. I've never played a Final Fantasy game, but listening to that, it makes me nostalgic. It is so good. That said, I'm giving this one to Hades.
Right, because you're best friends with Darren Korb.
Yeah, it's Supergiant's strength, the soundtrack. All of their games are amazing. Hades has a lot of range to its spectrum of music. It's got really good fight songs, but it also has really touching vocalist songs, which is standard fare for Supergiant. But I'm thinking of In the Blood is amazing. Good Riddance is great. The Painful Way, Out of Tartarus. There are so many songs that I've listened to. All are very different from each other, and yet they're all great. I've got to give it to Hades. That's what I think.
Is this the first award we disagree on?
Yes, it is.
All right. Super similar to the last category, best audio design, recognizing the best in-game sound is blah, blah, blah. Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay.
The winner of best audio design from last year was Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Which surprised us.
Well, all the guns sounded really good. And
yes.
Have you heard about what Call of Duty's doing on PS5?
You're talking about the triggers, right?
Yeah, each gun is going to have its own trigger feel.
Right, because there's a
That's
feature in the DualSense controller. You can vary the tension required to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So then each one can have like a different pulling pattern, which is very new.
I want to put my hands on it.
I want to put my hands on it as well.
But we're not talking about hands right now. We're talking about ears.
Yeah, you already read out the nominees.
So there's no Call of Duty to vote for this year.
Right. Another casualty that missed the cutoff, kind of. My head went to two places on this one. I was thinking it could go to Half-Life Alyx. Audio design is even more important to immersing you in a VR game where
there's a 3D space.
There's a 3D space. You're actually inhabiting it. If the audio design is even off a little bit, it'll be that much more noticeable. I was going to give it to them, but then I waffled and I chose a different winner here. I'm going to give it to The Last of Us Part 2. When I think of attention to detail in video games, two studios come to mind, those being Rockstar and Naughty Dog. They just handcraft the most immaculate, tiny details, and I think that will extend to the audio design as well, which is why I think Last of Us will win. This is always a tough category to pick a winner in unless there's some kind of gimmick going on, like the voices in Hellblade, because a lot of the time, good audio design is when you don't notice it. It doesn't get in the way, I suppose. Yeah, so Last of Us Part 2, having not played these games, it's really tough to choose best audio design, but that's my suspicion for the winner. What say you, Heath?
Hellblade won in 2017.
Right, and that was an easy pick because of how novel its audio design is.
And then Red Dead 2 won the first year we'd covered the show because of the ricocheting bullet sounds and the horses. This year, I'm going for the complete opposite pick. I chose Doom Eternal.
Okay.
Because they have lots of spooky sounds that you gotta mix right.
Doom Eternal would have been my third choice for this category.
All right, well, we'll see how we do.
Moving on to Best Performance, awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion and or performance capture. Who's up for the nominees, Heath?
You have Last of Us Part 2 on the account of Ashley Johnson, who plays Ellie, and Laura Bailey, who plays Abby. And then we go over to Ghost of Tsushima with Daisuke Suje. Also, why does Jeff Keighley pronounce Ghost of Tsushima wrong?
How does he say it?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ew. That's
As
not...
if it was like a raging tsunami.
Someone needs to slip him a notice.
Yeah. And then Logan Cunningham from Hades and Najee Jeter as Miles Morales in Spider-Man.
Yes.
I liked Hades Man for this.
Oh.
I mean, he's the only performance I'm familiar with.
Okay. Similarly, as the only game I've played on this list, he's the only performance I'm familiar with. He does a great job, but immediately I feel like it's got to go to one of the Last of Us chicks.
I know, but I couldn't even guess which one.
Okay.
So I went with the underdog.
Okay. I'm going to give it to Ashley Johnson as Ellie. She was a big part of what made The Last of Us 1 work, her very believable performance.
Jesus, Joel.
I suspect she will not have lost her edge for the sequel. I've heard good things about Laura Bailey as well, but I'm still giving it to Ashley Johnson as Ellie.
They kill so many people.
They do kill so many people. Lots of dogs, too, from what I hear.
Gotta have a good performance when you kill your dozenth dog.
Yeah.
All right, next award, Games for Impact. This went to what game last year? Grease.
Oh, yeah.
The criteria being thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message.
Yes.
We have a hard time picking these. Did you nail Grease last time?
Yeah.
Did you nail Celeste last time?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, well, what did you pick this time?
All right, we haven't even read the nominees. So the nominees are If Found, Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition, Spiritfarer, Tell Me Why, and Through the Darkest of Times. Now, I'm only actually familiar with 3 of these games, and I actually played Kentucky Route Zero this year, but it didn't really do it for me. For that reason, I'm giving it to Spiritfarer, which I've heard good things about.
What's the game I've played that is closest to Spiritfarer?
It's a little Stardew Valley-ish.
Assassin's Creed Black Flag?
You're managing this ship that ferries spirits to the afterlife of like animals and stuff. You hug the animal spirits. Alexis is super into this game.
Of course she would be.
She can't wait to play it. I think it's between Spiritfarer and Kentucky Route Zero, though. I think it has a chance. Kentucky Route Zero, on the other hand, deals a lot with economic depression and how industries are overturned, and this is a very timely moment.
A timeless message, yeah.
A timeless message, yeah, as we see like the airline industries implode on itself, as well as live performance industries. This game was kind of inspired by the Great Recession, and it's weird to see two economic collapses kind of bookend when this game started releasing and when this game ended releasing.
What do you mean started releasing?
This was an episodic game, Kentucky Route Zero. The TV edition
you're right.
is the whole thing combined. But part 1 came out in like 2013 or something.
Okay.
It's been a long time coming. I think it could go to either of them. I'm putting my stamp on Spiritfarer. Tell Me Why is an interesting one.
Well, yeah, that's why I picked it.
Oh, okay. Tell us about that one, Heath.
Tell Me Why we saw it during the Xbox Series X teasers.
Yeah, we did.
And that game was remarkable for 2 reasons. The art style, which was cool, still image animation, parallaxy, 3D tomfoolery.
Oh, okay.
And it oozed David Cage social justice commentary game.
Okay.
So that's why it's a shoo-in for Games for Impact.
This one is from the Life is Strange people.
Okay.
And it deals with one of the main protagonists is a transgender character.
Oh, perfect.
Which highlights that social issue, which most games never even touch. So yeah, for that reason, it stands a chance to win, I think.
Yeah, that's why I picked it.
But I'm still giving it to Spiritfarer, and you chose Tell Me Why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Best ongoing
This
game.
category is so weird.
This is a weird category. Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. The 5 nominees are Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky.
Which of these games was not up for nomination last year?
Last year? Good question. I feel like it's very similar.
Apex Legends was around.
Yep.
No Man's Sky is new. Call of Duty is new. And Destiny 2 was also around.
Yeah, 3 of the 5 nominees are repeats from last year.
So do you either give it to Fortnite again?
Definitely something I was considering.
Which is why I heckin' reinstalled Fortnite to
check
try
in.
and see, but I didn't have time to touch it.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. But apparently they added all the Avengers characters. Although, was that a 2020 edition?
I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah,
Who knows?
I've had such a hard time figuring out what did Fortnite add since winning the category last year.
I see.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, I totally know. They added these PvE bases on the big Fortnite island.
Okay.
That you can go into and raid and get Iron Man super armor, chest cannon, wah, or Thor Thunder Mjolnir hammer. There were like 5 legendary weapons that are all protected by these AI patrolled bases.
Okay.
And that was cool. A nice addition. Still, you're going to give it to Call of Duty Warzone.
I was this was one of the categories where I was unsure about. Fortnite felt like...
You don't play ongoing games.
Not really.
You play one and done games.
I feel like every year I hear less and less about Fortnite, which maybe that's just my ignorance speaking.
And you hear less and less about AIDS.
Okay. You think AIDS should be the best ongoing game? It's been ongoing for a while now.
Outstanding development that enhances the player's experience over time.
For a second, I almost gave it to Destiny 2, because this is the year Destiny 2 went free to play, presumably bringing in a lot of new players. But then I also remembered to balance out the pros with the cons on Destiny. There's also a weird controversy where they are cycling in and out content, some of which players have paid for. So you maybe bought a big Destiny expansion when it released for $40.
I did, yeah.
And because the file size of Destiny 2 is so big on your hard drive, the developer Bungie is taking some of its content in and out of availability. So you may have paid for an expansion years ago. For the current time period, it is now inaccessible. They've removed all the zones, all the bosses from that expansion in an effort to save hard drive space.
Streamline people's copies of the game.
Areas of the game that don't get a lot of player activity in it, they have removed. At least they claim temporarily.
Uh-huh.
So that's controversial that parts of the game you've paid for are now just poof and you can't play them until Bungie says you can. So to balance out the free-to-play stuff with that weird stuff, I don't think Destiny 2 wins it.
Imagine if Lord and Taylor or one of these clothes, just Joseph A. Bank were to take back your shoes or your pants in order to save you closet space.
You're not,
unthinkable.
You weren't wearing these shoes very often. I'm just going to remove them from your closet.
Whoa, wait. I have a bar mitzvah I gotta go to that I was going to wear that for.
So as far as which one of these games I'm actually predicting, yeah, you're right. I'm going to give it to Call of Duty Warzone in this instance.
Why?
It's the one I've heard the most positive buzz around this year.
They added the gulag.
The gulag mechanics sound sweet.
Let's say I shoot you before you even land.
Yes.
You go to the gulag. You have a 1v1. You win that 1v1, you get put back into the fray.
Yeah. There's a little mini game about a second chance, which they've taken this core concept of what used to be a perk in Call of Duty where you go down and then you shoot people before you get finished for good?
Oh yeah, it used to be called Coward's Way Out or Last Stand.
Last
it was
Stand,
Last
maybe?
Stand, and then you could choose Coward's Way Out to die and respawn.
Yes. I feel like they've taken what used to be a perk and evolved it into its own minigame. I think that's really cool.
No amount of Marvel integration could top that.
I guess so. But like I said, I'm not super confident about this category, but I'm still giving it to Call of Duty here.
Okay, nice.
Best indie.
Here we go. We are the foremost authorities here.
Oh yeah, definitely. For outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher's system. What are our nominees, Heath?
Carry On, Fall Guys, Hades, Spelunky 2, and Spiritfarer.
Pretty solid games all around. That said, this is like my most confident category. It's Hades.
Okay.
What do you think?
I also put Hades.
Okay. Why are you so hesitant about it?
I wasn't super confident. Fall Guys was very successful, and Spelunky 2 is not a bad game.
Right. It is. Spelunky 2 is great. It's taking what the original started and developing on it. Spiritfarer is even very good, but
as far as, outstanding creative achievement, Fall Guys does little in that regard.
Right. It's like a game show, kind
You're
of.
convincing me more and more. Well, yeah, Fall Guys was supposed to be, what's it called? Hideki's Castle?
Oh.
No, what's it called? Takeshi's Castle.
Takeshi's Castle.
A Japanese game show that aired in the 80s that pits contestants against each other, and you'd have to do these very similar, which are approaching, like you can absolutely see the Fall Guys inspiration. I imagine that they were intended to make this game with this license, but they couldn't get it.
I see. But I don't even think it's my biases showing here. I just think Hades is a superbly designed game. It's the only indie game on this list that's up for the GOTY.
Oh, fair. Yeah.
I think that speaks volumes. There's no way it's not Hades.
Oh, you're convincing me more and more. Best mobile game.
For the best game playable on a mobile device. Self-explanatory. What are the nominees?
Among Us, Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Legends of Runeterra, and Pokemon Cafe Mix. I have a story to tell.
Hit me, Heath.
You'll notice Pokemon Cafe Mix is developed by Genius Sonority. Genius Sonority made Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness and Pokemon Coliseum before that. So when I found that out, I was like, this has to be my favorite Pokemon game because Genius Sonority has never made a dud.
Never let you down.
Never let me down. So I installed Pokemon Cafe Mix.
Oh,
on my phone that I own.
And how much of a banger is it?
It is not.
Oh.
Pokemon Cafe Mix is a early childhood. The game that it is most similar to is a game Bailey will play on her phone, Disney Tsum Tsum.
Which I know about.
You know about. It is the finger. You connect these icons, similar looking icons in a well. And the more that you chain together, the bigger the points, and then other icons go to fill the empty space. It is so underwhelming.
Okay, that's a shame to hear about. Pokemon Cafe Mix was the only game here I did not recognize.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about Genshin Impact.
I guess so. Are we in agreement? This award is between Among Us and Genshin Impact.
Oh.
Who did you give it to?
I gave it to Legends of Runeterra.
All right, walk me through it, Heath.
Well, Legends of Runeterra is League of Legends' card game.
Yes.
That has to be good.
Riot doesn't put out bad games.
Develops on the characters that you know from League, and I've heard good things about the card. There's no one overpowered deck.
Okay.
I heard that the development into that game was substantial.
Okay. I am baffled that you, of all people, did not give it to Among Us.
What's the category, Chris?
Best mobile game.
Yeah. Why would you play Among Us on mobile?
Because it's free there.
But how are you supposed to communicate through Discord?
All right. Let me give you some additional insight I have. My girlfriend works as an art teacher at high schools, even during this pandemic era. Among Us is ubiquitous with kids.
Sure. So is acne.
Okay. But presumably these kids are playing it on their phones. They're not playing it on a console or a PC. I'd argue probably most people playing Among Us are doing it on a mobile device. It's a phenomenon. It is basically the new Fortnite.
Chris, you're talking to the #1 Among Us fan in the world.
And I can't believe you didn't pick it.
Because the categories criteria says for the best game playable on a mobile device. I would not touch Among Us on a mobile device.
Okay.
For the level of control that you need to have to make Among Us fun, you got to put it on a desktop with
All right.
Discord,
All right.
with mute to touch, whatever.
I think that's a fair point. I'm staying course, though. I'm not going to switch it up. I think Genshin Impact stands a chance. Taking some inspiration from Breath of the Wild.
Taking some animations from Breath of the Wild.
That's true.
Not just inspiration.
I don't think it wins, though, because a lot of its inspiration seems kind of surface level and superficial to me. How, yes, you can climb everything. Yes, the aesthetics are awfully similar, but it doesn't copy like the parts that really make Breath of the Wild special, that being systemic design, how items have like base fundamental properties that will always interact with each other in unexpected and cool ways. Nothing like that is present in Genshin Impact. Also, it's kind of a gacha game, which is a predatory business model.
It is some of the most aggressive microtransaction currency gambling we have ever seen.
I think that hurts its chances here. I don't think people would want to prop that up as worthy of praise. I thought Among Us doesn't have microtransactions, or it does?
It does not.
Okay. So Among Us is just a free game on mobile that you can't pay for microtransactions.
As of right now, there are no cosmetics restricted by a paywall.
Okay. So I was thinking with that being the case,
but they're coming.
That's a pretty wholesome approach to games on mobile. I feel like Among Us gets a little bump because of that. That said, I don't like the precedent this opens up by having Among Us nominated in these categories. I think it's really weird to have this 2018 game competing with the 2020 games. If they wanted to do that, there's an elegant way they could have. They have the ongoing game category, which is eligible for games from previous years that are still ongoing. You could throw it in there, no problem. But I think it's really weird that Among Us is up for best mobile game and best multiplayer just because a lot of people played it this year. That begs the question, like, hey, why isn't Witcher 3 nominated for best RPG? Because 2020 is the year where the most concurrent players were ever playing Witcher 3, more so than its launch year, 2015.
That's a great point.
If we set this precedent where just because a lot of people are playing it right now is suddenly eligible, it doesn't make any sense. That is the third and final reason I take issue with the Game Awards approach this year. It had its chance in 2018, and then later it can compete in ongoing. It doesn't make any sense to suddenly just make it arbitrarily eligible because people suddenly care about it. I dislike.
That's like if the Emmys were to award The Office Best Comedy for this year. Or the year that it was so popular on Netflix. You remember that?
Yes. Yeah. Like, does that mean we can just, if we organize enough people to play some arbitrary game like TF2 in 2021, suddenly it's nominated?
If there's a huge meme groundswell around Gex, does Gex suddenly become the best family game?
This precedent opens up a huge can of worms that I don't think they're ready to address. For consistency's sake, I hate it. That said, I still think it wins best mobile game.
All right. I played one game of Among Us on mobile.
Okay.
And I was ousted because I couldn't type fast enough in the in-game chat to be like, I watched Orange kill him. I got out-typed by these Zoomers.
Gotcha.
I don't know how you're supposed to... I have watched tens of hours of Among Us gameplay, and none of it is being played on mobile. We have passed the Among Us zeitgeist. AOC is no longer playing it on Twitch with Joe Biden.
Okay.
So we're on the denouement. I would still recommend Among Us. I would absolutely play it tonight, just not on mobile.
Gotcha.
Best community support. Recognizing a game that has consistently been real good towards their community and their transparency and responsiveness.
You just invented half of that description.
Way good as far as patches. Yeah, that's a huge element.
Yeah, you also omitted the fact that this includes social media activity, which is interesting. Like how responsive a developer is like on Twitter
They're
or
like
Facebook.
Yeah, we know the exploit. We're trying to fix it. We're trying to buff this certain weapon.
That said, read us our 6 nominees, Heath.
Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Fall Guys, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, and Valorant.
Right.
Is this the first we've seen of Valorant?
I think it's up for 2 categories, but yeah, I think this is the first one we've read.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Valorant?
It is another Riot game. Riot finally kind of branching out into other games besides League of Legends. This is its like CS:GO Overwatch competitor.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care for it, but these aren't necessarily games I care for. What do you feel about Valorant?
I think it's equally past the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And
I'm not hearing anything Valorant related lately.
You know what I am hearing?
What?
How the heckin' Fall Guys made Cheater Island, and they were so upfront about what's going down, and season 2, they're doing like a medieval thing right now.
Oh.
I thought Fall Guys Twitter is hella responsive, and unless you've heard more from the other candidates in this category, I think it goes to Fall Guys.
For that very same reason, I also gave it to Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout.
Hey.
The whole Cheater Island thing was what made me double down and give it the award. I have heard its user base has been dropping off a bit lately. It could have been like a flash in the pan, but I think as far as the devs' communication, they've been really good. It definitely won't be Destiny 2, I can tell you that much. I'm giving it to Fall Guys.
Great.
Best VR/AR game for the best experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform.
Dreams, Half-Life Alyx, Marvel Iron Man VR, Star Wars Squadrons, and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners.
I have heard of that game.
Jeff Keighley introduced me to that.
It's supposedly pretty good.
How close is it to Zombie U?
That Wii U exclusive?
Yeah.
I'm not a good person to ask that question to.
There were some cool integrations of that game.
For sure.
Where you tried to pick a lock, and the lock would be on your gamepad, and you'd have to like turn around to see if zombies were creeping up behind you.
Oh.
So this being a zombie game, it doesn't win the category though.
No. What wins the category, Heath?
Half-Life Alyx.
Yes, obviously Half-Life Alyx wins it. Arguably the best VR game ever made.
Although George is sad that Star Wars isn't going to win it.
From Super Bunny Hop?
Yeah.
Yeah, he really likes Squadrons, and it looks cool, but it is no Half-Life Alyx. And I also think in another year, Dreams might have won.
Interesting.
Dreams is really ambitious, although not a game for me.
Right, because you don't play Minecraft.
Yeah, I was watching some people who are just using Dreams as like an animation suite, and it is astonishing what they can pull off. It's like a full game engine. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's much more we can say. Half-Life Alyx, I would eat my own shoe if Half-Life Alyx did not win Best VR Game.
I hear ya. Yeah.
Moving on. Innovation in accessibility. This is a new category.
Really? But they had something similar last time, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
This is for recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience.
This is the first we see of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Grounded, Hyperdot, and Watch Dogs Legion. And then there's also Last of Us Part 2 in this category.
Yes. So this is a category I'm not super informed on.
Right, same here. What have you heard, if anything?
So like Hyperdot, I've never even heard of that game.
Yeah.
Grounded, I just know is the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids game, and literally nothing else.
That tipped their hat to Cyberpunk in the release trailer.
Yeah. Watch Dogs Legion, I've heard mostly negative things about. And then Assassin's Creed Valhalla is basically just more AC.
I gave it to Grounded.
Okay. Do you have anything to base that on?
They are the most likely, them being an indie team. Or no.
Obsidian
made this. Yeah.
Is not indie.
No, they're
now first party Microsoft.
Yeah, which made me feel like they would maybe be the most forward thinking with regards to this category. Who did you pick?
I gave this one to Last of Us Part 2 solely because of their new granular difficulty option. That being, you can custom tailor how hard you want the combat to be versus the puzzle solving versus the stealth. You can really go in, instead of just doing easy and medium hard, you can create the experience you want to get out of the game. And I think that is a big step forward for accessibility in a big AAA game. I thought that was pretty cool. Also, I haven't played Last of Us Part 2, but I did play Uncharted 4. Going into the options of that game, it had cool different...
What, like colorblind mode?
It had accessibility things like maybe during QuickTime events, you don't have to mash the button, just hold it down, or lock-on targeting. Different options, I assume, carry forward into Last of Us Part 2, the follow-up to Uncharted 4. So for those reasons, giving it to them.
What did you just call Last of Us Part 2, the follow-up to Uncharted 4? What did you just say?
I did call it that, just because it is the game from Naughty Dog that is coming after Uncharted 4.
Oh my God. What else does Naughty Dog make?
Jack and Dexter.
Last of Us 1. The follow... All right.
The follow-up to Crash Team Racing,
All
The
right.
Last of Us Part 2.
Next award, Best Action. For the Best Action, we have...
For the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat.
Okay, yeah, primarily on combat. That's an important distinguishment. We got Doom Eternal again, Hades again, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, and Streets of Rage 4.
Ooh, some fresh faces.
Streets of Rage 4 is a beat-em-up.
Yeah, side-scrolling 2D beat-em-up.
That's all it's got is action. So
Yes.
But beat-em-ups don't have combos. No, sure they do.
They have combos.
Okay, but not nearly as much as Neo 2.
Probably not. Neo 2 is a Souls-like competitor from Team Ninja. Well-received. Really long, really hard from what I've heard.
But I gave this to Doom Eternal.
I gave this to Doom Eternal as well.
Great.
Yeah, as far as just like the minute-to-minute action, I've only played Doom 2016, but what I've heard about Doom Eternal is that if you play Doom Eternal and go back to 2016 Doom, it feels slow in comparison.
Uh-huh.
And having only played the first, hearing that comment blows my mind because I can't imagine Doom Eternal being more frantic and hectic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Hades is a solid competitor, but I don't think any of them unseat Doom Eternal purely in the action space.
Correct. What about Best Action Adventure?
This is for the best action adventure game.
Combining combat with traversal.
And puzzle solving.
Aha.
So it's kind of a more holistic experience.
And we have a million
6 nominees. What are they, Heath?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Ori and the Will-O-Wisps, Star Wars Fallen Order, and Last of Us Part 2.
Why omit Star Wars Jedi Fallen
Just
Order?
because friggin' what do you call the movie Birdman?
Birdman?
Yeah, you don't call it the pretentious. You don't call it the unexpected virtue of ignorance.
Okay, that's fair. I do not call
It's
it that.
Star Wars Fallen Order.
which, since we're talking about it, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order
came out 5 years ago.
Is the leftover from 2019.
Feels like it, yeah.
No, it actually is. It came out last year and just missed the cutoff.
Gotcha.
Star Wars Fallen Order will be, next year, it'll be Cyberpunk that is filling that role.
Gotcha. And that, are you really traversing in that game? I guess you are, because you're like force jumping through platforms.
Yes, and I hear it's somewhat Metroidvania-like. You get new like traversal abilities that let you get to previously inaccessible areas.
Oh.
Yeah, it definitely belongs in this category.
But it was kind of jank.
It was kind of jank, buggy from what I've heard, although I'm sure that's been polished out by now.
Mm-hmm.
People were really high on that game last year. I suspect their enthusiasm for it has dwindled 12 months later, though.
I'm making changes to my predictions.
Oh, okay.
As you speak.
All right.
I'm deselecting Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
And selecting Spider-Man Morales.
Because of my comments on Jedi Fallen Order?
Because of your comments on Jedi Fallen Order.
Wait, walk me through your actual thought process here.
No, I saw the word traversal and I was like, oh. Easy.
Spider-Man probably does have the best traversal of this category.
Because thwip.
Yeah. Ooh. All right. That's good. We now disagree on one more category because I'm giving this one
to Ghost of
Tsushima.
Damn.
Actually, Miles Morales wasn't even in my consideration.
Oh, because it's been there, done that? Who won Best Action Adventure last year?
Last year was
Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Yeah, it was.
Wow, they love Japan. Spider-Man 1 wasn't even eligible last time.
Well, yeah, I mean, it didn't come out last year. Spider-Man 1
They've been dying to give it to Spider-Man.
Here's a fun little trend I picked up on. Best action adventure game the past 3 years, whatever wins this category has also taken Game of the Year. So, at first I was like, oh, it's going to be Ghost of Tsushima, but Ghost of Tsushima is not going to be the GOTY. Should I pick the actual GOTY contender here? No. Ultimately, I figured the open world nature of Ghost of Tsushima, I think, is more in line with the spirit of adventuring and like seeking out wherever you want to go and where you want to have your stories told. For that reason, I'm giving it to Ghost in this category.
That's their consolation.
Yeah.
Shoot.
However, Spider-Man does have the better traversal. Probably does have the better puzzles, I would assume, from what I've heard.
But I just told you about the fun matching the Japanese art to the landscape puzzles in Tsushima.
Okay. Sure.
But Tsushima doesn't have line up the circuits, Bioshock flow of electricity. Yeah. I'm going to go Spider-Man here as well.
All right. I respect your commitment.
Okay.
The other one, I was considering giving it to Last of Us Part 2 as my secondary runner-up.
Right.
Moving on to Best Role-Playing. For the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. The 5 nominees are Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. Here we go, Heath. This was the category I was most split on. Right. I am like teetering on a razor's edge. I am so 50-50.
Last year's winner was...
Oh, it was definitely Disco Elysium.
Disco Elysium. Oh, Disco Elysium. They took home 4 awards last year.
They won everything they were nominated for.
I hated it. Thank goodness they're dead. You'd love to give it to Persona.
I would love to give it to Persona.
But Final Fantasy exists.
But Final Fantasy VII Remake exists. Is that who you gave it to?
I gave it to Final Fantasy.
So we're in agreement. It's between those two.
I would have loved to give it to Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Oh, yeah? Because it's on your publisher draft?
No, because you know the gist of that game, right?
It's the first turn-based approach to Yakuza.
Yeah, okay. The main character hits his head or something.
Uh-huh.
And the rest of the game is sort of like, this isn't happening in real life. It's through the eyes of the main character.
Oh.
Who, believe it or not, loves Dragon Quest canonically and mentions it by name.
Okay.
And is basically like, we should have our own Dragon Quest. And the whole game, you'll notice in the portrait there, it's got an electrified bat.
Yes.
You can trust that it's just a spiky bat, but in his mind, it's
electrified.
That's how the game incorporates like spells, and all of these monsters are just like homeless Japanese bums.
Because he hit his head.
Right. Or it's some sort of thing where it could not be more role playing.
Okay.
I would love to give it to that.
It almost sounds like a satire of JRPGs.
Yeah.
But you are giving it to Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Well, yeah, because I want to win this competition.
All right. I'm giving it to Persona 5 Royal.
Attaboy. Stick to your horse. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think it's obviously between those two. They're both solid contenders. I think there's a weird thing holding both of them back. In Persona 5's case,
this game has already come out.
It's already kind of come out. Sure, there's some substantial new content in it over the 2017 version, but it's largely similar. And in Final Fantasy VII Remake's case, it's like an incomplete product. It's just part 1. They don't even know how many parts are coming down the pipeline.
Right.
I feel like also the fact that it is a remake is partially dinging it points, although it's from the ground up, totally remade. Had it been complete, had Final Fantasy VII been a complete retelling of the entire game instead of like the opening 4 hours,
it would stand a much stronger chance.
It would be a shoo-in.
A shoo-in, really?
For this category.
Okay, Persona.
What ultimately made me land on the side of Persona 5 Royal, though, is to this day, still currently, it is the highest reviewed game of the year. It has the most critical acclaim, beating The Last of Us, beating Hades, beating Half-Life Alyx.
Mm-hmm.
This game got the best reviews of anything. I'm kind of surprised it's not up for nomination in more categories. So for the best reviewed game not to win its one category it's nominated in, that would be blasphemy. Of course, it's got to be Persona 5.
Okay. I like your reasoning.
Thanks.
Yeah. Best fighting game. For best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat, we have Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Mortal Kombat 11, Street Fighter 5, One Punch Man, and Under Night in Birth EXE Late Clear. Just call it Uniclear.
Uniclear.
Remember Under Night in Birth was on the docket for EVO.
Okay.
And that was everyone's introduction to that series. They just called it Uniel, but now it's Uniclear because whatever. Every game this year is another like special edition to make it eligible. Chris, which of these games have you played the most?
I've played them all equally.
Because you haven't touched a single one.
Man, this fighting category this year has some real duds in it.
Last year was Smash Ultimate.
Mortal Kombat 11.
Again.
Not the Ultimate Edition.
No. But what makes it the Ultimate Edition? Just like
has
specialer moves and Rambo.
Probably.
Last year had Samurai Showdown, which was a good game.
Yep.
But also kind of jank. Street Fighter V Champion Edition.
Yes.
Street Fighter V has been around forever.
Yeah.
And nobody likes it. It's the Joe Biden of video games. And I'm not going to vote for it. I'm going to give it to Grand Blue Fantasy Versus.
What?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus came out.
Oh, it's by
2019.
Arc System Works.
When in doubt, Arc Systems.
Shoot. That stands a chance.
Arc System made Dragon Ball. They made Blaze Blue. They are so good at fighting games.
Oh, shoot.
You can't deny.
No, they're the best in the business.
Yeah.
That said, I voted for Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate.
Okay.
Because by all accounts, people like Mortal Kombat 11, and this is the Ultimate Edition.
All right.
Also, I had not heard of Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. So just by name recognition alone, I gave it to Mortal Kombat 11.
All right.
What I should have done was read the developers like you did. That'll be interesting. I could see it going either way.
All right. Moving on to Best Family Game. For the most appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, Fall Guys, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit.
Whew, what an oddball entry.
Minecraft Dungeons, and then Paper Mario Origami King. Have you haven't played any of these games either.
Correct, yeah.
But you've heard of that home circuit stuff.
Right. I watched it in a Nintendo Direct, and how this is Nintendo's RC car model that you play with your Switch, which is, talk about an out there idea.
Mm-hmm.
This is the craziest thing Nintendo has done since Labo.
Yes. Their cardboard integrated controller.
Do it yourself games that use your Switch and cardboard. So I've seen some gameplay of Mario Kart Live, how you're actually physically navigating throughout your own house with this RC car, and you get to see all the crazy characters and items on your Switch screen. It seems really cool. That said, it's not going to win this category.
It's not deserving of Best Family Game. Neither is Fall Guys, despite their outstanding success.
Right.
It's gonna be Animal Crossing New Horizons.
You are correct, Heath. It is going to be Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Sweet. Best Sim Strategy Game. Best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay. I hate this category.
You hate this category?
Right? Because it combines Crusader Kings 3, XCOM Chimera Squad, Gears Tactics, Desperado 3. Do you know what Desperado 3 is?
Yeah, I do.
Is that a strategy game?
More like a tactical stealth game.
Oh, like Shadow...
Yeah, Shadow Tactics.
Shadow Tactics.
Is that what it's called? I think it's from the same developer.
I believe it.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Shadow Tactics Blades of...
We'll never know.
No, we'll never know.
And then Minecraft Flight Simulator is also in this category.
Dude, you called it Minecraft Flight Simulator.
What is it?
Microsoft Flight Simulator. So your grievance with this category is that it's combining strategy and tactics with just simulating a plane flying over the Earth.
Right, because, okay, am I supposed to think Microsoft Flight Simulator can't win?
Because of its simulation nature.
I mean,
I think Microsoft Flight Simulator would be my second pick for this category.
Wow. Okay. I want to give it to Crusader Kings 3.
Okay. That's who I'm giving it to.
But wouldn't that be so it feels so inappropriate to be like, this flight simulator beat XCOM by the nature of that they were up against each other for whatever reason.
It is weird that simulation games get lumped in with strategy. It just, in the case of this award, it just feels like there aren't enough simulation games to warrant its own category. So it gets bolted onto strategy.
Put Microsoft Flight Simulator with the racing sports.
Yeah, it almost does kind of belong more at home there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But for strategy, we're giving it to Crusader Kings 3, both of us?
Yeah, oh, easy.
Okay, yeah, it was pretty easy. That game looks rad. I can't wait to play it.
All right, which of these games looks rad? Best sports racing. We have Dirt 5 F1 2020. That's Formula One racing. FIFA 21, NBA 2K 21, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Looking these over, at first I was like, oh, there's usually a sports game that stands out from the pack, and I vote for that. I think last year it was Crash Team Racing. This year I was like, oh, these are all realistic sports games. I don't really know which one to pick.
Tony Hawk.
And then I realized, oh yeah, Tony Hawk is in here.
Tony Hawk's an actual game.
Yeah, I voted for Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah.
It's the remake of those first two games that turned out really well, apparently. It's weird to think that Activision, of all companies, is putting all this love and care into their remasters. In the case of Crash Bandicoot, in the case of Spyro, and now in the case of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. It's particularly weird to think Activision put more TLC into their game re-release this year than Nintendo did with their Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection, where they just ported those games, barely touched them. They didn't even make Super Mario 64 widescreen. It's still in 4:3.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's awful.
It's weird to think, oh, Activision is the good guy over Nintendo in this situation.
Yeah.
It's wonky, but deserving of praise, and that's why I'm giving it to Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Great. Best multiplayer.
For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences. The nominees are Animal Crossing New Horizons, Among Us, Call of Duty Warzone, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, and Valorant.
Familiar faces.
Familiar faces all. This one was a toss-up for me until I thought about it. It was going to either be Animal Crossing New Horizons or Among Us. And I realized the true answer to this is Among Us, because Animal Crossing can function perfectly fine as a single-player experience. Among Us cannot. Among Us is inherently a multiplayer game. In fact, Among Us is immune to my criticisms of multiplayer games in general during my unpopular opinions segment, where it requires real human players. It fosters these interactions of mistrust and bluffing and lying that only we can do as humans. I think it is a great example of a multiplayer online video game. It's got to be Among Us.
I mean, I gave it to Fall Guys initially because Among Us is plagued with tons of party matchmaking. It's not a super user-friendly thing to get into a game of Among Us, despite the fact that all these kids seem to manage to do so.
It has less polish than Fall Guys, definitely.
Right. Fall Guys is foolproof. It's got a huge play button, and then you're already in a group of 60 people.
Gotcha.
Animal Crossing, I would play that game more if it had better multiplayer.
Oh, multiplayer is the weak point.
Well, you got to go to the airport and go through at least 2 minutes worth of, are you sure? Going online can be scary if you don't know who you're, it's so cumbersome to get somebody to come visit your island or to sit down with me and Bailey's copies of the game because it takes forever.
Yeah.
So it was down to Among Us and Fall Guys for me.
Okay.
And Call of Duty and Valorant, they probably have fine matchmaking.
Yeah, they're deserving of the nominee nod.
And I want Among Us to win an award, but the criteria is making it difficult for me to do so.
Kind of like the mobile category as well.
Yeah.
So you're giving it to Fall Guys.
I think it's Fall Guys.
Cool, okay. I mean, that's definitely in the running.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, good. We differ on one more.
All right. Content Creator of the Year. Do we care about this?
I didn't care about this.
I cared slightly.
I mean, clearly there are some omissions here because Mobius Tunes is nowhere to be found.
Well, how much content do we create?
It's not the quantity, it's the quality.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, these people go live almost every day. Okay, we don't care about this.
No.
It's not going to be part of the competition?
No.
Okay.
Omit it.
Heath wants it to be Tim the Tap Man.
Okay.
Tim the Tap Man had a very good run of, he's like the only high profile streamer to not get a chicken dinner in Fall Guys.
Oh.
And people were accusing him of throwing games.
Interesting.
And being like, how is it I can't win? He had at one point had like 400,000 people watching because they were in utter disbelief. No, 400,000 or 200,000? An insane number of people being like, is he finally going to win?
Yeah.
And that was a highlight. Best debut game. For the best debut game.
No, actually, it's different than that. For the best debut game created by an independent studio. So this is really best debut indie game, even though that's not the name of the category. And the nominees are Carry On, Mortal Shell, Raji, an Ancient Epic, Roki, and Phasmophobia, which you put on my radar.
I love Phasmophobia. Just the idea of it. But it can't go to Phasmophobia.
I likewise did not give it to Phasmophobia. In fact, Raji and Roki I hadn't even heard of. Just by pure amount of coverage I was aware of, I'm giving it to Carry On.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Are you Mortal Shell?
I was going to give it to Roki.
Oh, okay. I don't even know what Roki
Because
is.
Roki just looks like a nice polished journey inside
Okay.
type.
I do dig the art style.
Yeah. Carry On was problematic for me. It was a great idea, but the reason I haven't finished it is because I'm stuck in the Metroidvania level structure with no map.
Oh.
I have to like Google how to get there, and I'm having trouble following this weirdly large PDF. And then I was like, all right, what's Mortal Shell? It's Dark Souls. Okay. What's Raji? It's like Hindu Knack.
Oh. I mean, that's... throwing Knack in there is not praiseworthy.
It's not. So I gave it to Roki.
Okay, that's fair. Carry On versus Roki. We'll see what happens.
All right. Best, what else we got? Because we're skipping the rest of the
everything
esports
related. I think we just have Game of the Year to decide on.
Oh, boy.
The big one, Game of the Year. This is for recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. Who are the nominees, Heath?
Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and Last of Us Part 2.
I don't think this one is immediately obvious.
It's not.
I think it is more obvious than last year, though.
Because last year was...
It was Sekiro, of all things.
Sekiro. Did I give it to Resident Evil 2? Or no, I gave it to Smash.
Okay. But for this year, okay. Tell me where your mind goes, Heath. Are there any you eliminate right off the bat, or...
Yeah, Animal Crossing is not Game of the Year.
I would put Animal Crossing in the top 3 likely to win. However, I'm with you. I'm not going to call it the winner here just because I don't know if this is fair or not, but just because it's like a casual life simulation game, I feel like its genre disqualifies it from winning the GOTY. In the same way, like a 1v1 fighting game could never win GOTY in my head anyway. I feel like its genre is niche enough that it can't do it. I feel like GOTY almost always goes to a big RPG or a big action-adventure game.
That may be the case, but I equally don't think Doom Eternal stands a good chance.
I'm with you. Sure, you can argue it's an improved and polished version of Doom 2016, but I don't think that's revolutionary enough to give it the win.
So we're down to 4.
Down to 4. Okay.
And Final Fantasy VII, as you stated previously, is an incomplete story.
Correct.
It's only part 1.
Had it adapted the entirety of Final Fantasy VII, I might be calling it the Game of the Year this year. But since it is that segmented part 1, I also did not pick it.
Complete games for us, which leaves us with Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
And as much as you love Hades, I think you gotta give it to Last of Us Part 2.
I do really like Hades. I think the 2 most likely are actually Hades and Last of Us Part 2. I don't think Ghost of Tsushima's getting it. It's just a solid open world game. I don't think that's enough. My gut said to go Hades, but an indie game has never won the Game Awards Game of the Year award. This would be unprecedented.
Uh-huh.
So while it pains me...
If there were any indie game deserving of shattering that precedent, it would be Hades.
Hades would be on the short list, sure. Ultimately, I chickened out, though. I gave it to The Last of Us Part 2.
Dang.
Yeah, we're in agreement, I'm afraid.
We haven't played it.
We have not played it.
But it stands a good chance.
Which is weird to say, because it is a divisive game, but not very divisive amongst the critics, who are primarily the people picking the winners.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Hades and Last of Us Part 2 are basically the 2 best reviewed games of the year, not counting Persona 5 Royal. So it makes sense for those 2 to be the ones most likely to win.
And that's it.
Okay, yeah. We had a lot in common, Heath.
Mm-hmm. Which is good.
Which means the key areas we differ will be stressful. All right, I feel pretty good about it. I feel like we nailed it. We're going to do way better than we did last year.
Yeah, because there's no Disco Elysium to me. Great. I feel good.
I feel very good as well. How about we take a break, and when we return, we'll wind down with a volume of Mobius Tunes. See you then.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Heath.
We're back.
We're back after an extended break.
This show refuses to die.
So to give everyone an idea of what happened, we're recording the following day now because we had to flee the scene of recording.
Our studio was bombed.
Yeah, it was bombed in a way.
Stink bombed.
Stink bombed. Sulfur.
So if you listen back and you hear us rushing through the Game of the Year prediction, that's why. Or maybe you don't because we're such consummate professionals.
We're willing to suffer for our art. Yeah.
So you're welcome to episode 55.5, which I kind of like.
But we're not going to leave you hanging. We have returned to go through Mobius Tunes, our music guessing game, volume number 9. And let's throw you out of your comfort zone, Heath, and have me guess your songs first this time.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
A quick rundown for those of you who maybe haven't heard Mobius Tunes before. This is our musical video game song guessing game where Heath and I have both brought 5 songs from various games, usually in accordance to some theme, and we'll be trying to guess the game of origin of each other's songs. The earlier you can guess the game without the need of hints, the more points you will receive. It'll be 3 points, then 2 if you need a hint, then 1 if you need 2 hints.
The highest you could score is 15. I would know. Chris, as far as rounds go, the score is 3-5 currently.
That sounds correct.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is my time to shine. But you're in the guessing chair first.
Yeah, we'll do that. So these are Heath's songs. Did you bring a theme in mind today, Heath?
No theme.
Wow, that's a first for you, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I ran out. If anybody's listened to previous episodes of Mobius Tunes, I've played for you guys just a series of songs that are either so bad or so good that they won a Grammy. I always go about Mobius Tunes first and foremost thinking of the last song.
Oh, okay.
And
you work in reverse.
I work in reverse.
Huh.
Yeah, with the exception of maybe like Pepsi Man.
I usually start in the middle and then build outward.
Oh, the middle is where I throw the chaff in.
Because we try to make the songs more difficult to guess as they progress.
Yeah.
All right, I'm feeling ready for your song number 1, Heath.
Oh, you should fare very well.
Awesome.
With song number 1.
Oh, yeah, I am going to fare well. Because this is Hades.
You didn't even let the Greek guitar come in.
Well, let it come in. Yeah, this I can name the song as well. This is...
You already did. Earlier when we were talking about Hades during the nominations.
Yeah, this is Out of Tartarus. So yeah, this is par for the course for Supergiant music. Very string heavy, maybe even harpsichord. But then, halfway through the song, there's a guitar rendition. Have you listened that far?
No.
No?
No, I mean, okay, so here was the thought, right? I knew you'd been playing Hades, and you could not resist but to put a Hades song in your playlist, but don't give that away just yet. It might even be the very same song. And so I was scrubbing through the OST thinking like, okay, which Hades song is like a good Mobius Tunes edition? And I couldn't decide for myself.
Okay.
So I went down to the comments and I saw one person say, this is my favorite song. And I went to the timestamp and it was this.
Gotcha. It's a good one. Yeah, I like the use of theremin throughout the Hades soundtrack.
That sounds like a flu decongestant.
It's a weird instrument that
It's the slide thing?
So it's through like electromagnetic waves, I believe. You just like if you see people perform with it, you just have their hand like in the air.
I do see people perform with it.
It's the iconic like spooky music sound.
Yeah.
Which is appropriate for Hades since you're fighting spirits and things. Yeah. Out of Tartarus. Good solid pick, Heath.
That's 3 points for you. My hints were going to be this roguelite features many members of the Greek pantheon.
Jeez, what a giveaway that would have been.
And then hint number 2 is you've put 82 hours into this. So those are what would have been. All right.
Imagine if I needed that second hint.
No way. No chance. All right, song number 2. Considerably shorter. Also from Hades.
No. This is very upbeat. I'm liking it. But you said it's like a short jingle.
No, it's 3 minutes.
Okay.
But it was like half of the length of the Hades one.
Okay. Whew. All right, so this one isn't really ringing any bells. I'm guessing it's kind of a lighthearted game just by the tone of the music.
Yep, no theremin here.
What could this be? I'm going to have to do a semi-random guess to start. Is this song from Katamari Damacy?
Ooh. Good guess. Katamari Damacy, I think, would have more real instrumentation, like horns and drums and stuff. This is very electronic.
Yeah, not orchestral, really.
Katamari Damacy would have... why am I also saying it kind of...
Damacy?
Katamari Damacy, yeah. I think they would use real instruments, whereas this is a little too electronic synth.
Okay. I was just going for like the Katamari tone of game.
Yeah, I get you. I know. I know where your brain is at. Your first hint.
Okay.
This battle royale game released this summer.
All right. So it's going to be Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout.
It's correct.
My backup guess was going to be Piku Niku. But the song's from Fall Guys. Cool. Okay.
This is called, and then my second hint was going to be the title of this song is Survive the Fall.
Yeah, I could see how this is right at home in the Fall Guys visual aesthetics.
I think this song, of all the Fall Guys songs, is the one that slaps the hardest.
I enjoy it.
All right. Next song.
So that was 2 points. I'm up to 5.
Which is very
good.
Very good, yeah. All right. Song number 3, which might be more suited if you were losing at this point.
Okay. Heath has lit up to this music.
I love this song. This is like, if you did not vote for Trump and he won the election, you would want him to come out to this song for his like second inauguration.
This is giving me like clumsy marching band vibes.
There are plenty of YouTube videos of drunk people walking into convenience stores to get more booze
to
the tune of this.
Oh, that's fun. Drawing blanks for what game it could be from, though. So I'm going to take a random guess. Could this be Super Mario Sunshine?
No. Super Mario Sunshine has the doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Is that the Metal Mario? What is that?
No, Metal Mario is bam 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 bam
right.
bam bam bam. Your first hint. Among the ones developed for home consoles, this is the Zelda game that precedes Breath of the Wild.
Okay, so based on that hint, it's going to be one of the home consoles, so not handheld. And it's the entry right before Breath of the Wild, which means it has to be The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword.
Is correct. Wow, you nailed that. Because you played Skyward Sword?
No.
You just know the most recent
You forget, Heath. I know when every video game ever released.
That's why you're my co-host. The second hint was going to be picture a player thrusting their Wiimote towards the sky like you would a sword. Very good. You got another 2 points.
Awesome.
It's up to 7.
I'm feeling good.
Yay.
What put that song on your radar?
Oh, it's Groose's theme. It's one of my favorite. What did it put it on my radar? Probably another YouTube video that used it.
Well, I'm feeling really good with my 7 points. Is this where I get taken down a peg?
No, you should fare just as well.
Okay.
Because this is the next song.
Vocals, huh?
I had to break it up somehow.
In this themeless segment you have. So vocals would be a dead giveaway if I knew what this game was. So it's probably not one I've played. That's my current theory. Very melancholy. Man, what could this be?
I'm going to break with convention and go grab a pen.
Okay. Go get a pen, sure. I will continue listening. So like a sorrowful woman's vocals. I'm guessing it's something vaguely fantasy themed. I guess sci-fi isn't totally out of the picture. Oh. Okay. I know what this is. The big emotional that is a dead giveaway of Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain.
Dang it.
I got it right.
This was my 5th song, or excuse me, this is my 4th song. Yeah, it's so easy to recognize with the. So, where did you first hear the whoa-ho?
Probably just like trailers for the game, or maybe in a YouTube review or something like that.
This guy moaned at least this loud.
I mean, you've seen this video, right?
Never.
This guy moaned at least this loud?
Never.
That's a classic.
This guy moaned at least this loud. Oh!
What is this from?
Just an interview of somebody complaining about public disorder, but it like doubles down and replicates it. And so they put the whoa-ho to it. If you go to, this song is called Sins of the Father. If you go to the comments, they're all like, thing that you like, and then thing that you like twice as much, right? Because the first one is the whoa-ho. And then, even harder.
3 minutes later.
Anyway, your first hint was going to be, this Hideo Kojima game has you slithering around Soviet-occupied Afghanistan and Angola. And then the second hint was, it is the last Metal Gear game that matters.
Okay.
Because what came after this was Metal Gear Survive.
Right.
But we don't talk about Metal Gear Survive.
Of course not.
You're up to
10.
nine balls. You aced this, so 10.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Feeling good with one more song to go.
Okay, well.
What is the pen for?
Time to, well, you're about to see.
Okay.
Song number 5, hardest song ever. Very hard, very difficult.
Oh. Dramatic.
Feels like you're on the Disney World ride Soarin', doesn't it?
I guess so. I'm getting like ballroom dancing vibes. I don't know what this is from. unless women's vocals kick in anytime to let me know. Very celebratory. I'm going to just throw a guess out there. Could this be... for some reason, I was thinking a Pokemon game. I'm going to say... Let's just say, is this from Pokemon Sword?
No.
Okay. Didn't
Dude, have
think
you
so.
listened to the newest Pokemon games?
I have not.
I mean, Pokemon Sword and Shield take place in Britain. So they're all like stadium soccer.
Oh.
Like, name a British soccer team. FC Madrid? No, that's Spain. What are they called?
That's a challenge I cannot complete. I don't know.
Sword, Shield, music. It's all like very electronic.
Oh, yeah.
Very...
Not at all what I would have expected.
Well, because they've jumped the shark right now, and they're making Pokemon like super big and super flashy. It's far gone are the days of JRPG adventure mystique.
Okay.
Unless you're talking about what's her name, Diamond and Pearl, Cynthia. Yeah, is it Cynthia? No. What's the I mean, I love that. I've already played that for you. That's the okay, fine. Pokemon piano song.
This is the same song.
You would think, right?
Oh, but it's not?
I know, it's approaching. This is the prelude to what we just listened to.
Oh, okay.
But that's the closest you're going to get to orchestral
Gotcha.
ceremonial, maybe? But let's get back to this song.
Yeah, let's. With my first hint, I'm still thinking JRPG currently.
This one-word 1997 JRPG title was only brought to the Switch and PC last year. You play as Justin, a young boy who inherits a magic stone that leads him on a great adventure. Despite its success in Japan, it failed to make an impact in the West, partly due to the PlayStation version releasing between Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII. Despite that, IGN in the year 2000 ranked it among the top PlayStation games of all time, calling it Game Arts' magnum opus and probably their most historically significant project.
Well, that's quite the hint there.
Guess the game.
Okay. So this is a Japanese release from 1997 that did not get a Western release until last year when it was ported to the Switch.
No, it came to PlayStation back in 2000-ish.
Okay.
But no one gave a fuck.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to have to ask you what introduced you to this song after it's revealed.
You just Google, like, best video game music.
Oh, okay.
And this is among them.
My guess is going to be Trials of Mana.
Ooh, I said one word.
Oh, I messed up.
But
oh, well.
no chance of you, okay. Your next hint, and this is a fun hint.
Okay. This is what the pen is for.
Yes. Hint number 2. I feel pretty good about this.
Okay.
An anagram of this title could be Doctor Again. Doctor abbreviated to DR.
Yeah, okay.
A little word puzzle for you.
Thanks. This is creative.
7 letters.
7 letters, Doctor Again. JRPGs from the late 90s that no one cares about.
but for some reason has a really fun disco theme that belongs in Rocky.
Have I ever told you, Heath, Scrabble and games of that style are
Yeah.
like my kryptonite.
Oh, really?
I am awful.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, side note, Bailey and I did a trivia night maybe 3 days ago.
Okay.
One of the questions was, in 2009, a French fraud case was waged against this sect that could be anagrammed, yes, not logic.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, sect. That's probably like a religious sect is the first thing to think of.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I worked out was that you could get the suffix ology out of that mix of letters. And only then was I able to make the jump to Scientology.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so I love a good anagram, but maybe you just cobble together an adventure game sounding world or continent, and we'll leave it at that. Yeah, in case the fans are trying to work it out, the anagram was Doctor Again. Doctor abbreviated to DR. So it's only 7 letters. No space. What did you invent?
How about that old game everyone knows about called Gander?
Yes.
Is that
spell it for the fans at home?
I didn't even use both A's.
No.
I'll GAAINDR.
Oh, a nice
Save.
What ethnicity does that? Double A's.
Ooh. I don't know.
Is that like Kandahar? Maybe Afghanistan. No, the answer you were looking for was Grandia.
Oh,
Grandia. Grandia is like a Final Fantasy battler, Earthboundy type, but it holds up. It doesn't look super dated.
No, the
look
pixel
super
art
dated.
looks pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm fine taking the L on that one.
10 points is fine.
I don't think an even more generous hint instead of this puzzle crossword would have gotten me there. Grandia is just not in my vocabulary.
Which is why it's probably the hardest game I've ever had you guess.
Well, okay, 10 points, not too shabby. This is where we're gonna switch seats. I need to take a 2-minute break as I try to think of hints quickly, and then you'll guess instead.
Hey, this is a video game show. This is 23 hours ago.
Okay.
A sealed copy of Super Mario Bros. 3 has sold for $156,000 and has set the world record for the highest price paid for a video game at auction.
Well,
that's interesting.
we wouldn't have had that factoid if we didn't get sulfur bombed yesterday.
You're right. Yeah, we just made it in. Super Mario Bros. 3 has one of the best video game box arts ever.
Okay.
Because it's a very minimal Mario with the raccoon fly suit.
It does not do it for me.
Nice. What do you mean? It's iconic.
I think it's somewhat subjective.
No. Okay.
All right.
You're a Mega Man fan.
Not really. I've never even touched
Have
those
you seen
games.
the bad Mega Man box art?
I've seen some bad Mega Man box art in my lifetime.
Oh, really? Have you already seen this?
I have seen that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're transitioning to the 5 songs I've selected. I think you're going to get a real kick out of my theme and the songs I picked. My theme this time, I'll tell you right off the bat.
Will.
I went ahead and named this theme, I've Studied the Blade. So these are all games where the protagonist prominently uses a blade of some kind,
Okay.
be it a sword or knife.
Song number 1. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it because I've heard this theme for sure.
Oh, wow. You don't immediately recognize it.
I think we've already spoken about this game, this episode. This half of this episode.
Okay. Probably. This game comes up a lot.
Ay. I mean, first of all, this, as a person who's done musical theater, this absolutely sounds like an opening number to a stage play.
I've got a great hint lined up if you can't get there.
Damn you, Chris. It gets easier to guess later on, don't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Wait, no, this isn't Octopath Traveler.
Listeners will be pulling their hair out around now.
I mean, okay. It started. Oh, duh, the beginning. Ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. Yeah, that's the heckin' tablet. Okay, I was around this part. You were gonna get me for like Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
Because big sword man.
Okay.
But then, yeah, okay, we got there. All right, this is Breath of the Wild.
This is Breath of the Wild.
Phew.
I was going to tell you this home console release of the Zelda came following
after
the Skyward Sword.
Very funny. Okay, I got 3 points, but I didn't deserve it.
You got 3 points, but you shouldn't feel good about yourself.
Okay. Song number 2. Ooh, shabba-da-boop. Oh, is this Halo Reach with how much we're in a jungle right now?
I think you mean desert.
Well, Halo Reach starts with jungle.
You're taming snakes, I thought.
And then you go to the taming snakes.
Okay.
All right. Da 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 da. Oh, I got him! Yeah! Either this is a weird Assassin's Creed Odyssey pull, or I got him with the synchronicity. Oh,
before you reveal,
ooh, which what are they called? Bounds? Which bonds?
Boons?
Boons. which boon did I just receive?
Yeah. So what game is this, Heath?
This is Hades.
This is Hades.
It would be interesting to see where in the OST did I miss.
Gotcha.
What's my standard deviation as far as minutes go?
This is the painful way, which is the one I confuse with Out of Tartarus. For a second, I thought we had both picked the same song.
That was the goal. That's why I would never put a Hades song on my thing.
I had Out of Tartarus downloaded, but switched it at the last second.
Ooh.
Skip ahead to 3 minutes, 29 seconds.
Oh, is this the guitar riff that you were hoping for?
3:29. Much like Out of Tartarus, it switches to like the boss theme of this song, which is great.
Ooh, that's why this song had the metadata for System of a Down.
Yeah.
They made this?
Maybe? Double check.
No, Darren Korb made this.
Darren Korb, yeah, he definitely wrote this.
Unless the
there a
guitar
collab?
feature. Did Darren Korb do a thing for System of a Down? No, because System of a Down are the guys that did the right?
I don't even know who
Yeah,
this
because
band
that song is called Down with the Sickness.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's by Disturbed. I don't know.
We're all over the place. Anyway, you've picked up another 3 points, Heath.
Fortuitously.
So you are up to 6.
I got you. I read you like a book.
The next song is the replacement for what was going to be Dishonored. Let's give it a listen.
Whoa. I just fell into an abyss. Abyssal. Cyberpunk delayed again.
I really like your hand wiggling that's going on. The listeners won't be able to appreciate it.
Okay. I studied the blade, eh?
Yeah.
But Doom is gun.
Yeah, Doom is gun.
Doom no sword, except for the iconic sword that you get.
Your eyes lit up when the vocals came in.
Who?
I love this song.
Is this System of a Down?
This has been my go-to gym
Workout
song lately.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's not Doom, because Doom is gun.
And Doom doesn't touch vocals.
Right. Is it? Prey doesn't have gun either.
You mean sword?
Oh,
Prey has gun.
Prey, it's full of glue. No sword, I meant. This is. This is Wolfenstein Sword. It's Wolfenstein, the new sword. Slice them up with Wolfenstein.
One of the Wolfensteins?
Yeah.
Is that your guess?
That's my guess.
Okay. Unfortunately, that's incorrect. For your first hint, Heath, this song is from a certain game recently re-released in which the most notable new introduction is a brand new playable character.
Ah, gosh, Chris, that's... Oh! Thank God. Okay.
Lyrics are helpful, right?
Yes. Oh, I almost cut myself on that edge because it's so edgy. This is a 9-minute song, Chris.
All 9 minutes are excellent.
You can get through at least 3 sets.
What game is this?
Okay,
Heath?
well, thank goodness that the vocalist was like, nobody likes me. Yeah. This is Devil May Cry.
This is Devil May Cry 5
Special Edition.
Because whose battle theme is this?
This is Virgil's.
Right. This is Virgil's. Excellent. Bravo.
They did study the blade on
did.
Reddit.
The Yamato. So I think fans have been asking for a long time to play as Virgil, and now you can.
Well, and here's the news that you know about. All the modding that's been going down. They discovered that Dante has AI, which means that they did program something involving you fighting him as Virgil.
I see.
But that's not in the game yet.
Until this special edition.
Yeah, well...
Presumably.
No. There was a lot to do with Devil May Cry. Are you familiar with the news? I know it's so secondhand because I've never touched a Devil May Cry. They had content built into the game, but behind a DLC paywall.
Okay.
And modders need only just like check one box so you can play it.
Enable it, sure.
But on console, it's like, no, you gotta pay for it. So that's been the controversy there. Man, people really like their Virgils.
He seems cool.
He
Very
seems
technical.
cool in a nerd way.
Very nerdy,
In
yeah.
a like doesn't know what sex is way. All right, I nailed that. No, I got 2 points.
You got 2 points.
Okay.
So you're up to 8.
Closing in.
Yeah, closing in rapidly.
All right.
Hopefully these will slow you down.
Mm-hmm. Like a rusty blade.
Get your tetanus shots.
Yeah. This is song number 4. Beep-beep-bop. Okay. This isn't... More Chris workout songs.
I'm not as big a fan of this one.
Oh! Oh!
Oh!
That voice. This is so easy to place. Oh, this is so easy to place. Oh God, my brain is telling me Sonic, but Sonic didn't cut anything.
I don't know. Sonic has been pretty edgy over the years.
Oh, Chris. That was so recognizable, that vocal. Just those 2 lines. Yeah!
Yeah.
Rules of nature. Oh, fuck me. Yeah. Oh, what's that always from? Oh.
You know the song, just what game is it from?
Oh, it's not a wrestling game. It's rules of, yeah. Wooly Versus loves this song. But what game is it from? It's not another Devil May Cry. Unless it is, because he loves Devil May Cry. Ugh.
This one and Breath of the Wild are killing you.
DMC3.
Gotcha. This game is similar in tone to DMC, but it's not another Devil May Cry game. For your first hint, this game features Blade Mode, which will slow down time and allow you to make sword strikes at very precise angles.
Damn it.
This is Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Damn it.
You're correct, Heath.
Dude, that was so bad.
Heath, our lists this time both featured Zelda, Hades, and Metal Gear. Crazy.
Good thing your next song is a 90s JRPG forgotten by the West.
Trials of Mana.
Yeah, Trials of Mana.
So you picked up another 2 points. We are tied, Heath, 10-10.
I should have known it was Devil. I could have gotten that if I waited long enough. We're tied?
We're tied.
So I just need not choke.
You need not choke, and it's in the bag. But it is my hardest song.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Here we go. Fire Emblem. The dun 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 dun. It took me to Pirates of the Caribbean for a second.
They have blades.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a licensed Pirates of the Caribbean
maybe
game.
It's a Lego Pirates game.
Not a whole lot of commentary on this one.
Fire Emblem.
Plenty of blades in that series.
It's not Witcher. Witcher would put in like an accordion or a banjo. Make it a little more Eastern.
Yeah.
All right.
What's coming to mind here? Fire Emblem, you said?
That's all I got is Fire Emblem.
All right. Which entry do you want to name?
I want to name the one with like Corrin in it.
Okay. What is that one?
That's
is that Awakening?
That's called Fire. No.
No. That's Fates. Is that Fates? I'm not up to date.
Let's go with Fire Emblem Chronicles of Xenogears. Wait, no. Let's actually dice it up because I can't think of a Fire Emblem subtitle. Let's go with Xenoblade Chronicles.
Okay. That's a fun guess.
Might as well be a Fire Emblem game in my mind.
Sure. Nope, it's not that.
Damn.
First hint. So this game is the third and latest entry in this certain fantasy franchise.
Chris. Is this a Witcher 3 song? Damn, you're trying to sneak it in. Because Geralt has 2 blades.
He's too.
He's
studied twice as hard.
Chris. This is a third installment.
Third and latest installment in a fantasy franchise.
You're gonna get me again.
You only need not choke, Heath. And you're getting low on your disk space.
All right. It's not Witcher 3. It's third and latest.
Sensing a lot of animosity this episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna start studying Blade. It's Witcher 3.
Not Witcher 3, but it would be eligible based on my hint. Okay, I had to make this last one hard, Heath. For your final hint, this game has a relatively unique feature to it. There's an online external website you can enter called The Keep, in which you can go ahead and make all sorts of narrative story choices that you import into the game from previous installments. It's kind of like a workaround instead of importing your save file. And you can even make alternate history choices to mix things up instead of replaying the old games. So it has this online Keep website that you can import saves from into this game.
What sword-carrying fantasy franchise, of which there is a third and latest, has this dumb feature?
Yep, if you answer that question, you'll get the point, Heath.
Chris, your breadcrumbs
Yeah.
are not like... Here's the thing, like, when I try to breadcrumb, I try to breadcrumb, and I rip off a loaf of challah bread. You know the huge knot? That's my crumb. When you breadcrumb, it's like a single grain of the panko kind that comes in the can.
Hey, man, this is my hard song. Arguably, you're not supposed to get it. Or if you are...
Oh, yeah. Okay, we have different design philosophies.
If you are, you should pick up like 1 point.
My design philosophy is that the opponent ought to pick up 1 point, but be embarrassed for it.
Okay, I see.
Okay. Mass Effect has saves,
Mass Effect does have save importing.
and Witcher doesn't. But that's because I answered all of those in the questionnaire at the 4-hour mark.
You should think more about Mass Effect.
Fantasy. Why? Because it's a BioWare game. What other BioWare games are there? Dragon Age? How many Dragon Ages are there? There's Inquisition. And the other two? Well. Alright. Dragon Age Inquisition.
Is correct.
Phew.
You get the point, Heath.
Alright, it got me to BioWare, yeah.
And yeah, you're right. Dragon Age Inquisition has this keep feature.
You and Alexis
Yeah?
met in this game.
No, we did not.
Sure you did.
Although it does have a multiplayer mode
Is
that
it-
I have never touched.
Yeah.
I think it's a totally separate entity from like the main campaign.
Very fun. I win.
You win 11 to 10.
Oh, dude, we were tied. You should not have breadcrumbed me the
Hey,
Dragon Age, despite my complaints.
I did exactly what you asked. You got a point, and I think you feel really bad about it. So it was balanced perfectly.
Okay. Well, this is good though, because going into Mobius Tunes 10, it's 4-5.
Yeah,
It's better that it's closer.
I agree.
Shocker. Mobius Tunes continues to be very fun.
It does. They're always amusing. So much overlap this time. That was weird.
It was deliberate,
Partially.
partially.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode. What will listeners have to look forward to next time, Heath?
Okay, so next episode is going to be your turn at the 20 questions, unless that's too soon.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me. Next episode is not going to be until after the Game Awards.
Probably.
So it'll be the recap. And then the prize for the publisher draft shouldn't happen until after the year ends.
To be official.
So yeah, I gotta move this. So that comes down, but then 20 questions comes up to fill that spot.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially.
All right, I'm cool with that idea.
Yeah, so next episode, we will find out who wins the Game Awards and what game the loser will be playing.
Right.
And we'll also have fun things to talk about as well.
Sounds like a fun one.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in. If you have any emails or inquiries you want to ask us, you can do so by sending us an email at mobiustubespodcast@gmail.com.
That's mobiustubespodcast@gmail.com.
And I'll catch you next time. Heath.
Get out of here, Chris.
Bye.